we're going to help you choose some readings for your service. Now, first of all, you can have a poem by anyone you like, Pam Ayres, whoever you might like, a limerick, as long as it's fairly clean. And you can have it read out by anyone you like. So if you want poems read out, there's lots of websites with wedding poems. But we do like you to have at least one Bible reading. The reason being that's a stipulation of the Church of England, that we have a Bible reading. But secondly, whoever's taking your wedding, whether it's me or someone else, will be giving a little talk about the meaning of love and the true nature of love and all that. So the reading that we read out is going to be relevant to that talk. So if you turn to the green sheet, first of all, the first one is Genesis 1, 26-28, which I'm not going to read out. On the website, these are not coloured sheets. These are just headed Old Testament reading, because obviously there's no colour on the sheet. But Genesis 1, 26-28, I'm not going to read it out, but it's all about creation. Now, Sue was saying that I was quite serious about the vows. Hope you don't mind me saying that. I meant to be serious. I hope I haven't put anyone off marriage, have I? Oh, that's good. I meant to be serious because it is a huge undertaking. But Genesis 1 is about celebrating creation, yeah? So if you want to celebrate creation and be cheerful, that's a good one to choose. Song of Solomon 2 is about passion. If you read it, set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm. For love is as strong as death, passion fierce as the grave. Its flashes are flashes of fire, a raging flame. So if you're a romantic, have a read of that one when you get home, and you might want to choose that one. 1 Corinthians 13 is about love. And love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way, it is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. Love never ends. Have you heard that one before? 1 Corinthians 13, it's read out at quite a lot of weddings, and it's the most popular. Ephesians chapter 3, Paul says, I bow my knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and earth takes its name. That's praying that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith, as you are being rooted and grounded in love. That's a lovely one. Ephesians 5. Obviously, I'm not going to go through these in great depth now, but this is another suggestion. Wives, be subject to your husbands as you are to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, just as Christ is the head of the church. Now, this sounds terribly sexist, as if they are saying that husbands should be in control of their wives. So I always read this out to my wife every morning over breakfast. I'm only joking. But if you read the next paragraph, you'll see it says this: Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, in order to make her holy. In other words, you wives, be subject to your husbands, but husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. Christ died for the church. So it's mutual self-giving, mutual sacrifice. Philippians chapter 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. Again I say rejoice. Let your gentleness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. Do not worry about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. This is a lovely reading, which you might want. Whatever is true, whatever is honourable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is pleasing, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence and if there's anything worthy of praise, think about these things. That's a lovely reading. It's not about marriage, but it's been put in there because it's about the nature of what is value. 1 John 4, Beloved, let us love one another because love is from God. The love that brings you together is the love that binds you together and keeps you together. God sent his only Son into the world so that he might live through him. In this is love, not that we love God, but that he loved us and sent his Son to be the atoning sacrifice for our sins. Matthew, the purple sheet now. It may be purple on the website, I just don't know. I might scan it in and then it will be purple, won't it? So you'll find out. Matthew 7:21, this is Gospel readings. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only one who does the will of my Father in heaven. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and acts on them will be like a wise man who built his house on rock. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house, but it did not fall, because it had been founded on rock. And anyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain fell and the floods came and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was its fall. So it's all about building your house on rock, and the rock is your relationship. And there are lots of rock pop songs about we're standing on solid rock, and I won't start singing them now, you know, there are various songs about rock, and people like that as a reading for a wedding because it's saying that your relationship is to be founded on solid rock. Mark 10, verse 6 to 9, 13 to 16. God made them male and female. For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore what God has joined together, let no one separate. That's about a very traditional understanding of how the woman and the man leaves his parents and is joined to his wife. And that reading also has about the blessing of children. So if you have got children and you want to have that recognised, that might be a good one. John 2, water into wine. This is a miracle that Jesus did, where he turned water into wine. And if I'm doing the talk at the wedding on that one, I'll say that love turns the water of life into the wine of love, that it makes life much more special. Because just like wine can improve things, so love can improve things. John 15, as the Father has loved me, so I have loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. About love for each other. Have a look at these readings and choose either one reading from all of them, or one Old Testament, one New Testament, one Old Testament and one Gospel, or one New Testament and one Gospel. It's all written out there. It's a bit complicated, but don't choose two Old Testament passages or two Gospel passages. You can choose a poem and a reading. You can even choose two poems and a reading. You can't have four readings. It's too many. You can have 3 readings maximum. And they can all be read by people in your family. Sometimes a young child will do a reading. It's really lovely for that to happen. So just whatever you feel is appropriate. Has anyone else got any questions on readings? You can always ask them privately.